if you want to contact me in any way, that's the address to go to. About me, HB Peterson. You will find, I don't know if you know about the About Me page, but you can create links to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to Flickr, to Twitter, any social media account you have. And also you will find my email address there. So go there. If you have any question regarding this or anything about Notes, Domino, just contact me. So give you a minute to take a picture of that before I start. So today I'm going to talk about the Notes 12.01 clients, but I'm also going to talk about Notes in general. So I'm going to keep talking and keep pushing, showing lots of notes, tips and tricks down your throat until you either tell me to shut up or I'm out of time. So I guess my session is it 45 minutes? Is it? Yeah, quarter past. Yeah, 90 minutes. 90 minutes session. All right, we're in for some fun there. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about myself. As I said, I'm from Norway. I live north of the Arctic Circle. So on the day I left down here, we had a little bit of snow in the air and kind of wondering if summer is going to appear. You know, in North Norway, we say that the winter is 5 or 6 months. Spring is 1 week, and then we have summer. So, and we have a wonderful summer, 24 hours of sun. It's the sun doesn't set. I've been working with Notes since 1997. So it's a long, long relationship, and it's no longer my day job, actually. I'm doing this as a side gig in addition to my work at the university. And I used to run the Nordic user group. So I think I've seen some of your faces at the ISBG and NCUG, as it was called, towards the end. I shut that user group down this winter because, yeah, it wasn't much. Last webinar we did, not a lot of people showed up, and I only have so many hours in a day, but I still love the Notes client, and I love Notes 12.01. And when you leave today, you're going to love the Notes client too, if you don't already do. So the first thing I want to talk about in Notes 12.01 is the user interface. As you can see, for those, how many of you are still on 9.01? Ah, that's very nice. 10, 11, 12. Okay. So then I don't need to tell you that this is a new Notes icon. So when you open that, and you open the, you will still get the Discover page, of course, and you will get the new workspace. So you have a whole new design. Well, the build-up of the Notes client is still the same. I mean, you still have the open menu to the left. I've docked it. I'm going to show you how you can turn that on and off that. You have the right sidebar panel. At the top there, you have the windows and tabs, and you have a context-based menu on the top. So this menu will change depending on where you are. So if you see, if I jump into my mail and if I go to Discover, you can see some of the menu items are disappearing. That wasn't the case in the old version of those clients. All the menu items are still always there. So sometimes, very often, I got calls from users saying, "No, why doesn't that menu item work?" And it turned out they were in a place where they couldn't use that menu item. So that's a big improvement. So first of all, the new changes in, for instance, if you go to a calendar now, since all of you are, or most of you are in 12, I'm going to skip through this pretty fast. But as you can see, there's a whole new user interface, a lot less cluttered, and the same goes for the email. So if I create a new email, you can see the same. It's a very much less cluttered space. It's much nicer and easier to use. So, by the way, did you see what I just did? I was in my calendar and I opened a new email. What did I do? Control M. Control M is a shortcut where you can use anytime, wherever you are. You don't even need to have the email application open. Control M and the email, a new email will pop up. And the same with the to-do. It's a new form. And if I go back to the calendar form and I go right down here, I'm going to show you something, because in here you can now integrate with Microsoft Teams at the same time with Zoom, What's the other one called? Cisco?
WebEx.
WebEx, thank you. And also GoToMeetings. So you can configure these here. I haven't done so because I don't really have an account of any of those sites. However, you can register and a form will pop up and you write your username and password for that service. And then you will get a token, a long string of numbers and letters. And you paste that in and if you have admin access or the administrator have given you admin access or access to do this, you will be allowed to create meetings in Teams, Zoom, and all these services directly from your notes file. That's pretty cool. So, another thing that has been vastly improved is the search. You have a search bar up here now. I mean, we all know how this used to work. You had to go to View, and then you had to search this view, and then you don't need that anymore. This will always be here, and it will be context-based as always. So it will show the view you're currently in, and then you can start searching for it. Now, look, you have recent searches here. So these are the recent searches I've done in the Notes client, and down here are all the recent apps I've searched in. And not only that, if I, for instance, start writing on, he won't mind using him. You can also see the latest people you search for. And if I put my mouse over there, you can see Arne's profile inside connections as well, if you have connections. So I can see the latest posting you did. I can. Well, good question. I don't use it anymore. Well, you do have search and view. You do have many more parameters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, parameters. You can, you know, yeah.
Okay.
So which you don't have here. I see. I'm going to show you a little bit about. They have been improved as well. But since you asked, let's do that. Let's do that. So I go to View, search this view. Oh, I just turned it off, didn't I? There we go. So this is here. If you're in search this view, and you start searching, you have a lot of various, what do you call it in English? Various filters. Thank you. So you can, for instance, I'll only search for messages within certain dates. For authors, you can even add fields and say this field and this field should contain these values. Yeah. So it's a very, very powerful search. So if anyone comes up to you and tell you it's difficult to find something in a notes client, so no, it's very, very easy. However, there's one very important thing if you're using search in the view, which is a full text search. What do you think that is? It should be full text index. It should be green and says index. I've had customers who called me and said, you know, Notes has been searching for 5 minutes and still not finished. And I said, does it say indexed or not indexed? And then it's not indexed. I've had people with huge mail files and they never index them. Horrible. Yep.
Just a question about the search. We had problems when you're searching for numbers
Mm-hmm.
in an accounting system.
Yeah.
Because 1,500 is 1 space 500. So you could do whatever you want. You don't find 1,500 by typing it. Did they fix that?
I don't know.
Okay. I'll have to problem.
How did we fix that?
No.
No. Okay. It's true. And numbers. I mean, everybody here who has program views and stuff like know that numbers is can sometimes be a bit tricky, especially if you alphabetize the sorting. So in there, I'm not going to go through all these. I just want to fill, and this one's one of my favorite. You can even fill out an example form. This is what this field should have, this field should have, search, and it will find everything from that example form. Brilliant. Okay, I'm just gonna, okay, so as I said, here it will show the view you're standing in. So, or the view you're in right now. So if you click on that pull down, You can also search a lot of other places. You can search wherever you are. You can always search your mail, always. Because let's face it, for a lot of people, mail is one of the most important applications in Notes. So if I go back to my inbox here, and before anybody asks, yes, I will show you how you can get your Windows to do this. A lot of people, surprisingly many, don't know about that. So if I go here, it will automatically change to the folder I'm in. So if you see now, färdig means finished. I only have 2 folders really that I use. It's my inbox and it's finished. And my inbox is almost empty. So right now you see a 1 that I've received a new email. I check my email in the morning, then I close it, and I check it at lunch, and then I close it, and I check it in the afternoon. And I always have inbox 0. And everything that needs some time to be solved, something I can't reply to in just a few minutes, I create into a to-do and move it out of my inbox. And then I set a date on the to-do when it should give me a signal that, hey, you need to follow up this. Or these days, I actually pull it over to connections and do the same thing with an activity. But this is about notes and not connections. So whenever I change a folder here, so if I, for example, go to this folder, you will see it changes up here as well. But no matter where you are, you can always search in all your email by choosing all email. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to say a few things about email now. So one thing in emails now is that when you create an email, you can click on from here, and then you can choose that instead of sending out an email from the usual notes-based address, you can choose your actual address, or the internet address, or you can choose an alias that you have created. So let's say, for instance, that your account, you're admin for something, and admin at foo.com always goes to you anyway, because that email is routed into your inbox. You can actually set that as a reply, as if you set it as an alias inside your person document. So this is pretty cool. I like this. Also, if you have a mail-in database where you are one of the people who reply in that mail-in database, you can also add this here, so that when you receive an email from that mailing database, inside that mailing database, you can choose your address as the sender instead of the address to the mailing database. I don't have any mailing databases on this computer right now, so I can't demonstrate it to you, but it's very well explained in the documentation on HCL Notes 1201 documentation page. So you can set up the mailing database so that you are one of the senders, and then you can choose the same thing from the pull down from a list like this in the mailing database, and all the replies comes to you instead of into that mailing database. So this is awesome and something people have been asking about for many years. Also, in your inbox now, I can use this one. I'm going to hide the preview right now because it gives me a little more room. So by default, your administrator can now by default set how your inbox should be sorted. But you are, of course, free to change that. But the first time you open Notes, the administrator can choose how that inbox should be sorted. So I just want to show, again, surprisingly many people don't know about the sorting options that you have in Notes. So if I go to my inbox, let's see, why can't I see my sorting? Oh, sorry, there it is. So you can, because I want to use this folder with a lot of emails, so it's more easier to see. So you can group by date like this. Today, yesterday, rest of the week, last week, rest of May, older messages, and so on. Same thing as you can do in Gmail and Outlook. And however, if you don't want that, you can just turn off group by date, no problem. You can also choose, and no idea how many times I've had a user screaming at me at the other end of the phone, where's my email? And it turns out he has chosen unread only. And I go, do you see that little show button? Yeah. Did you? Yes. That was my next point. In 1201, they warn you about this. I think maybe already in 12.0. Yeah. So that's very good. So you don't get those phone calls anymore, hopefully, but go to red. And this one, you can see emails as individual messages, and then you can see them as conversation. And as you can see, when you see them as conversations, you only see the latest email in that conversation. However, you can hit this one, and then you see the entire thread. Now, question, how many of you welcome Bill, how many of you create a new email to someone by replying to an old email and just changing the subject line? I know nobody dares to put up their hands. Don't do it, because that email will most likely end up inside this conversation thread. Always start a new email from scratch. There's no reason to reply to an old email and changing the subject, because you have type ahead in the to field now. In the old days, when you didn't have that, you kind of understand that, and you can send an email directly from a contact in your contacts database. What I'm saying is only half true. I know that Outlook and Gmail are pretty good at solving that if somebody does that, but Notes is not. So if somebody, because there are lots of hidden message headers that you don't see. So I don't like having my email inbox like this, because if I now decide to delete this email, I will actually get a warning about you're about to delete the entire thread. I'm sure you've had users who don't read the message and hit yes, and they only meant to delete one of the messages, and then they lose all of them. And you have to, you go into trash and you hope, pray to whatever deity you believe in that it was more than 48 hours ago. You know the drill. So what I do is that I say individual messages, because when I click on the email, it still will show me a twisting. So you will still get the entire conversation thread. And a lot of people ask me this when I do this presentation, because I've done it lots of times. If you have moved an email out of the inbox and into another folder, doesn't matter, still finds it. It still comes up in that conversation thread. So don't worry about that. So signatures, we all love that topic, don't we? So as you can see, I have my signature, posting about being an HCL ambassador and all that. That's the about me address, my blog, my email, a little bit about me, and so this is my private consultant company email. It's not my university email. Unfortunately, I have to use Outlook there. So that's my standard signature. However, something that I think it was new in 12, if I'm not mistaken, is that you can now create several signatures for different situations. Now, of course, this has been there a long time, that you can get a signature file from your local machine, but that's pretty heavy-handed, really. So what you can do is that you can go to more, and then you can go to preferences, and it will load a little bit, and then you go to signature, and then you can choose, you can set one signature for rich text email, that means most emails you send, because they're HTML emails. Or if you send a plain text email, as I sometimes do, because I'm subscribing to some mailing lists where you're not allowed to send HTML email, you have to send pure text email. Then you can have one signature, and you can also even add an HTML or image file that will be used instead of a signature here. However, I don't recommend using that, because in a lot of systems, that signature will become an attachment instead of showing up. I usually tell people don't do that. However, there's more people. You can now create your own signature for reply and forward messages. This is new. You can create, so I can say, I want to use my default for this, or you can create a brand new one for reply to and forward messages. This is good. This is good.
Yeah, can make it smarter.
Yeah, because they got your complete signature most likely on the first email, and then you can use and then you have the same choices. So that's, I think it was new in 12.0. I'm jumping a little bit between the applications now, so please stop me if you get confused. I'm going to show you something in the calendar now. Oops, sorry about that. I have a meeting on Friday, which I'm a bit annoyed about because it's my day off. But I got a meeting and something that is new, because this meeting is created in Outlook, and it's a Microsoft Teams meeting. And in the past, you were not able to invite others to such a meeting. However, you see the button up here, invite others. You can now invite others into the meeting, and they will get it as a meeting invite, and then they can accept or reject it. That's good. We all know that in the old days, Notes just couldn't deal with HTML emails. The rendering was horrible. Every time I had used MailChimp to send out an invitation to, to NCUG's Domino conference, and everybody who received it was a Note, and nobody could see anything because they couldn't read the HTML email. That is fixed as well. So all HTML emails. So if I go up here now and I search for High North Dialogue, and as you can see, the typo had worked, so you can see that I searched for this before. So High North Dialogue, and I can open that email, and you can see now that everything renders just beautifully. Links and everything just works. And speaking of links, we all know about links in HTML emails. What if you wanted to copy the link? You couldn't do that before. However, now you can actually right-click and choose copy link as URL, and that URL is, and not only on pictures, but on normal text links as well. So this is also new in 12.01.
We're still in rich text.
We're still in rich text. Still in rich text.
So
yeah.
If I copy this email to another database,
it would still work.
It would still
Yeah.
be,
Very good question. Yeah, very good question. What he asked was, if he took this text and pictures and everything, copied it and pasted it into another rich text field. I tried that, and the link still worked. So and you can also right-click it and choose copy.
The look stays clean.
I'm not going to say that 100% sure, but I think it should do. I don't see any reason why. Maybe if there's some HTML that won't, I don't know. Try it. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, this one is cool. I'm going to show you something really nice. So if I create a new message here, so as you can see, this is Norwegian for yes, this is the standard font. And then I have copied the text from the meeting invitation which said join from your computer or mobile app. Now, as you can see, that has another, it has bold, it's bold, and it's another font. So what I can do is that I can mark that text and then find this icon next to the underlined A here, choose it, and then go like this, and the same font will be used there. This is great. I'm sure a lot of you have copied something from another source and pasted it, and it looks completely different, but you have some other text that has the correct font and size. That's the way you can do it.
Then you didn't know control shift anything.
Sorry?
Then you didn't know control shift the.
No, yeah, but sometimes, yeah, I'm just going to show that. But he's right. If you do if you take Shift Control V, so let me find, for instance, let me copy something from my own web page here, Control or my About page, and then I paste it like this. As you can see, it retains the font as much as it can. But no, I wanted the standard mail font for this. I didn't want this font. So what you can do then is that you can hold down Shift Control V, and then it will render the text completely unformatted. Shift Control V, and this doesn't just work in Notes. It works in any Windows application. Shift Control V, and then you don't have to worry about it. But if you wanted to retain the formatting and some of the formatting doesn't work, then you can use the method that I just demonstrated on for you. Okay, let's jump to the workspace for a bit, because that's a lot of changes. As you know, you have the workspace out here. You still can't move them around. That's something that, of course, was asked in the presentation you did yesterday. And also, they have promised us that the squares that we used to have around the icons will be back in 12.02. Thank God. And also, as you know, you can now have 64.64 pixel icons. So you can now create, icons like this instead of the, slightly less fresh icons.
What happens if you close the workspace?
What happens?
The little X.
Oh, the little X. Good question. Just minimizes it.
Okay, so the tabs are on the left.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was actually going to get feedback about that. Maybe the X isn't the right, maybe an arrow pointing to the left, because that could be interpreted as closing. Yeah. So that's so I like having the workspace choices on the left side, because that's how, at least in the West, you read from left to right. That's why I like this. I met some people still would like to have it on top, but that's how I like to do it.
I think it should be selectable. Many people want to go
On top, okay. So yeah, because that's what you're used to. Also, what you also can do is you can right click inside here, and you can choose, do you want to show the server names or not? You can also choose whether you want to see unread documents or not.
Does this apply to all the pages or just the page you're on?
I think it applies to all the workspace pages. I don't think it just applies to this one. Also, you can also choose whether you want to stack replica icons or not, which means that if I turn that off, any replica will become its own icon instead of being hidden under the other icon, and you can choose them. So you can do all this stuff now. And every time you choose arrange icons, it will sort and clean up the workspace, just like you can do on the desktop. Now, just to clarify, I don't have 541 unread emails. I have no idea why that shows up. Probably some other document from the calendar or something. I have no idea. Yeah. But unread emails, no, I never have unread email. I'm one of those people who I can't stand it if I have a notification on my phone that I haven't checked out. Just go away. I don't like it. It's my OCD kicking in. Okay. So another thing about the workspace is that you can, of course, do as in the past. You can go to workspace properties, and you can change the color and change the titles and everything. We all know about this. But what was introduced in 10, what a lot of people maybe don't know about, is that you can actually also change the background picture. So you can go anywhere on your computer, and you can find background. And you can choose to, choose this one, and then you have to, oh yeah, this is annoying. You have to actually choose what kind of type of image. It should have just shown all of them. So let me take this one, for instance, and if I do that, it will add that as a background to my note. And of course, you can push this out as a policy, so you can have the company logo or whatever. So a new thing that also has come in 12.01, maybe it was 12, is this one. You can right-click on a document and go to Advanced Properties and look at Document Properties, and you get a big window that you can resize, and you can see info and attachments. You can export this info. You can sort on it. Yes, this is, and you can search. No search. Very good. Remind. This is the Twilight Zone, yeah. the plugin where you get to see this resizable properties window, that's there as a default. And then you can add a plugin from Penagenda, which makes it possible for you to even edit the document from here. So that's
It's restricted to the standard client, not the basic client.
it's not, I would not think it's in the basic client, because I guess this is a plugin kind of type. No, it should work in the basic client as well, shouldn't it? No, okay. Okay, very good question. Thank you. Just keep firing away, because I have no plan for this. I have a little plan, but keep them coming. So I promised you something. I was going to, surprisingly, many don't know about this, that you can actually dock the open list. So a lot of people, when I start my course, I forget to show this at first. So because they say, where's your open button? So when I click the open button, you can see all this. But you can right click and you can dock the open list, and then it's there all the time.
Before it was in view.
No, it's always been in the open button. Because no, is it? No. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. You can also do it in the view document. Yes, I learned something. Nice. That's good. Now that's what Engage is all about. So let me go back. So, but then people ask me, well, where's the search field now? Well, you have here, and then this. I'm so surprised how few people know about this. I can now search for any application inside my Notes client. So, which it didn't find right now for some reason. Let's see. Okay, this is embarrassing, because it's supposed to. Because what you should be able to do now is that you should be able to do this and search for any application with those letters in it, that they will pop up now, and you can just open them like this, just like as you can do in the Windows menu. But if I stop typing Word will pop up. So for some reason it didn't work right now in my Notes client, but that's what should happen. So just so you know about it. Use Mac. He sure told me. And you also get the menu just like you do in the open menu. Another thing I want to show you, and this is now I moved past what's new in 12.01. Now I just want to show you things that maybe you didn't know about Notes, is that you have something called history. And history, you will get every single document you opened in your Notes client today, yesterday, Monday, and a week back. So you have a week worth of history of every single document, even including every single email you have opened.
Is this GDPR compatible?
Not sure. Yes. No, it's not on the Switch at all, but a lot of people don't know about it. In fact, when I blogged about this, because I'm going to show you my blog where I blog Notes tips. When I blogged about it, I even got a message from Theo saying, I did not know about this. And that was last year. So, and he's an expert in Notes. So this history is pretty cool. One feature I'm going to show you now, which I think was new in 11, maybe it was maybe it was new now, is that you can take any document and import it as a PDF. So you can go to File, Export, and choose PDF and give it a name. And this Notes document will be exported as a PDF. However, in my experience, this PDF export isn't the greatest. So I'm going to show you another way to do this. And that is by hitting Control P for print. And then choose Microsoft Print to PDF. And then you will get a perfect PDF print. That is by default a printer in Windows, should be. If it doesn't, Google it and find the setting for it. That works perfectly. Unfortunately, I think that works better than the PDF export right now. I have reported some of the issues I have to HCL, so they're on it. Okay, so spell check. We all spell check, don't we? So if I create a new email, thank you. And I start typing, and now I'm going to learn you some Norwegian. So what I basically wrote here is, hi, my name is Hogne, and I come from Fauske in Nordland County, which is pretty far north in Norway. Now, as you can see, apart from my own name, which the spell checker doesn't recognize, even though I'm from Norway, everything in a Norwegian sentence is not underlined. However, everything in the English one is. So what if I want to send an email in English, but I have set Norwegian as my default spell checking language? Well, that's no problem. I just mark this sentence and the line beneath it. That's important. I'm going to tell you why. And you go to text, and you go to text properties, and you choose English. And you can do this for any language you have installed in Notes. There's two things, and I think you should fix about this. It should be detected automatically, just like in Outlook and Word and stuff like that. I know that's a big job, but that's what it should do. But it should be a little more easy to change language if the language is. But as you can see now, I can actually now spell check two languages at once in the same document. My name is still not, my name is very rare even in Norway, so the Norwegian Notes client doesn't recognize it. I'm sad to say Outlook does, but Notes does not. There's a lot of Norwegian words that this Norwegian spell checker do not catch, and I've created a list which I've sent them about that. So that was spell check. So another thing is I have turned off all notifications for my emails. I don't get a single notification. I constantly speak to users, no matter if they're on Notes, Gmail, or Outlook. Oh God, it keeps popping up. Oh, new me email. So I just, and once again, a lot of times when I do this presentation, a lot of people don't know about this. So I go to File, Preferences, and then you have something called sending, sorry. Oh yeah, there we are. So I've turned off player sound. I have no alerts and no display an icon in the system tray. So that's something your users, unless you turn it off as administrators, they can easily turn on and off for themselves, which I do. And I've done the same thing in Outlook. And also, never ever use a slide in, because it will go, if you're having a presentation, Notes doesn't care. It will still throw up the slide in. And if you're doing a presentation for the competition and suddenly you get an email from the CEO in another company, I'm speaking from experience here. I had a very mad CEO inside my office telling me to shut everything off because he was doing a presentation and this popped up. Okay, day at a glance. I love day at a glance. This is something I completely miss in Outlook. Well, it's in Outlook, but it's not as good as the one we have here. So in here, I have my day for today. Anything, my entire calendar will be here. So, and I can jump between the days like this and see what happens. And I have imported my air flights and everything in here. That's the difference between the day at a glance and Outlook and Notes. In Outlook, you don't see external or other calendars that you've imported into your calendar in this day at a glance. Notes shows everything. So if I go into my calendar here, you can see here that I'm going to shut off the. So in my calendar here, I have added all my travels from TripIt. I have imported my work calendar from the university and the HCL ambassadors iCal feed. And for those who in the know, you know what you know about that point. So everything here is just a few of those are actually in my Notes calendar. The rest are imported, and these will also show up in day at a glance. And in day at a glance, you will be able to create a new meeting, create new appointments, whatever. In the calendar, you can choose. Once again, so many people don't know about all these different options you have for choosing how to watch to see your calendar. I love monthly view. I don't know why. I hate weekly view because I just love. And then I get asked, why is everything in different colors? And once again, surprisingly many people don't know about this, but you can colorize your calendar entries. And you can do it in a much better way than in Outlook. So if I go to my meeting on this Friday, let's see. Sorry, there we go. This one. And I can choose edit, even though I'm not the one who created the meeting. And I can choose, oh, sorry, that was not what I was going to hit. I was going to hit add a category. And I can choose the NCUG because that's what this is about. And I can save and close it. And what happens is that it changes its color to that color. Now, how did it know to do that? Well, you can go to assign colors, which I'm going to do now, and then you can choose what category should have what colors. So you can categorize all your calendar entries. So they can, by a quick look at your calendar, you can say, okay, that's about that theme, that's about that thing. So you can very, very easily, so all my HCL and Microsoft calendar entry invites from any of those companies is colored blue. So you can throw one look at it. I should maybe have separated Microsoft and HCL, but so you can add categories. And so categorize your meetings. You can just click on category here, and then if you have assigned that category a color, you can organize your calendar in a very, very nice looking way. And also, if you import an external calendar, so as I said here, reise means travels in Norwegian. So all my travels are imported from a service called Tripit. Anyone here use it? Yep. So you can import it from Tripit, and the way you do that is you hit add a calendar. You can add a notes user's calendar if you want, another notes user, if they have chosen to share it with you. If they haven't, you will only be able to see if they're busy or available. So I can choose iCalendar feed, and then the service you add, you get the iCal feed from that service, and you just put it in here. You give it a label, a background color, text color. I don't know why it's there because it never takes. And then you can choose an icon, and then that calendar will be imported into this calendar. So how do you share your calendar with other people? Well, you go to File and Preferences, and then you choose Access and Delegation. And it loads a little bit, and then you can add here who you want to have access to your mail and calendar. So you can choose people, you can set it to everyone, or you can choose a person in your directory. So this is only internally. This is only internally. In Microsoft 365, you can actually share your calendar with external people, which is what when I went into my old calendar, I told you can see all my entries from my work calendar there, because I have actually opened my calendar for sharing with externals. You can actually do that, and you can choose to show everything. So that's how I managed to do that. And I don't have to log on or anything. It's a unique iCal address shared with me. So if you are in both environments, you can do that. However, don't do what I did, where I imported my work calendar in the notes and then my notes calendar into my work calendar, because that creates recursion. So you can then choose here how much you want to mail, calendar to do, or just calendar to do, or just and contacts, or just calendar to do. You can choose how much they should be. So if you have a secretary that needs everything, I think it should be more options here, but you are either read or everything. I think that's a bit much. Even deleting, I think that's going away a bit too far. So I think there should be more options there, personally. And you can also choose to tell how much should other people see of your schedule. Should everybody see it, or just people you choose? And should they only see when you're available, or should they also be able to see all the details about your calendar entries, unless you check them off as private, of course. Okay, so what I want to show here is, as you can see here, I have some purple entries here. I can show it. I can go back showing as a week so that you don't see all my like this. Okay, so as on the 17th of May in Norway is our national day, constitutional day. And as you can see, that is imported into my calendar. Now you can go to more and import holidays, and you can import the holidays of a whole bunch of countries. And that is very, very smart for those of you who work across several countries in huge corporations. But then you can check, oh, it's a holiday that day in that country. Maybe I shouldn't, create a meeting on that date. So you can, and this can be turned on and off as you want. You can just go in here, and so I've imported all the Norwegian holidays here by checking them off here, and you can do that for any country, and that would also be reflected on your works calendar when it's imported onto your cell phone. Okay, so I told you earlier that I most of the time, all the time, I have a zero inbox. So what you can do is one of the tricks I have is that any email I'm in the CC field on are emails I ignore. Those aren't important, and I even ignore them to the extent that they actually bypass my inbox. So the way you do that, more and mail rules, and you manage rules, and you create a new rule, and then you can say when CC contains or is, and then you can add your own email address, and then you tell which folder it should go into. In my case, trash. No, I'm kidding. I'm throwing in another folder which I go through sometimes just to see, because sometimes people add you to the CC when you should have been in the to field. But that is a very good way to stay on top of your email box. So you just choose CC and then decide what you want to do with that email. And you can create a ton of great mail rules. And something that is new, I think it was introduced in 11, is that you can run mail rules backwards on emails you've already received. That was a big complaint in notes 8 and 9, that you couldn't run the rules on already existing emails, but you can do that now. So when you run it, it asks you wanted to run this on previously received emails, and you can say yes or no.
Is the previously the inbox or the previously
all the emails, okay. All the emails. So all emails matching those criteria will then that will happen. So maybe you shouldn't do that when you create a CC rule. So it's only from emails that happens from that point on. Also, if I go into my email here, this is nothing. One thing I told you, I go through my inbox 3 times a day and then I close my email. So the things I can't solve in just a few minutes, I create into a to-do. And the easiest way to do that is just right-click it, and you can either quick flag it, and you can flag the email, or you can, you can, thank you, there we go, copy into to-do. That's what I do. I copy into a to-do, and now I haven't opened my to-do application, so it takes a little while to open it. Everything in the email is copied. I can choose the important levels of importance. I can set a due date. I can say it should repeat. And I did a huge mistake by doing this email because it obviously downloading images from the web right now. So that wasn't very clever of me. But I just wanted to show you how I stay on top of my email. So I just turn it into a to-do with a flag, and when I reach the date, it will.
There should be an option to not copy the content, but put a link.
Yes, it should be. I completely agree. It should be an option saying that you only copy a link to the email instead of the whole email. So very good. Okay, now I'm almost on time. So I just want to say this is my blog, and and the address to that blog is dominohealthworld.org, and I'm gonna do that in a big. So, and if you add this tags, notes, tips, I think it is, let's check it. Then you are taken straight to everything I've been showing you today and about 100 more tips. So yes, that was the correct address. So thank you guys for coming, and I hope you enjoyed it and that you, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back to this one. I hope you learned something new and that you enjoyed the session, and please review me in the app. So thank you.